Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining in for day 24 of Purushottam Adhika Mas session. So we've been reciting from Bhagavad Gita chapter number 15, Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14, and then we've been singing Yugalashtakam, Chaurashtakam, and then we've been reading from the book The Perfection of Yoga, which we just completed yesterday by the grace of Guru and Gauranga. So today we will start with a new book. Before that, like always, we'll start with prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapala Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gauradushe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Jetam Surato Pangur Mama Mandamater Gati Matsarva Sabalam Bojo Shri Radha Madana Mohano Divya Grindaranya Kalpadrumadha Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanastav Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Pesthalivi Sevyamano Smarami Shriman Rasa Rasarambhir Vamshi Bhatatastitha Karshan Venur Swaner Gopir Shri Gopinath Shri Estunaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pramani Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Taraliye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining in. Let us start with our chanting of one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra with Srila Prabhupada.
Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद श्रील गुरुदेव की जय। कलियुग पतित पावन हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। नमो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र शतक हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभि चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गंगा मैया की जय, मैया की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, तुलसी महारानी की जय, समेत भक्त वृंद की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज assembled devotees हरे कृष्णा, ऑल ग्लोरीज assembled devotees हरे कृष्णा, ऑल ग्लोरीज assembled devotees हरे कृष्णा, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So today we are going to start a new book. So first let's get into the study of the new book, and then we will go into our regular prayers that we do every day in this auspicious month. So let us start with our new book, which is Krishna Consciousness. Yeah. So, okay, let me share my screen. Okay. So this is from the online prabhupadbooks.com. So again, the first chapter of this book also is the perfection of yoga. Very wonderful, right? So in the Purushottam month, we are studying how to perfect our yoga process, which is Krishna Prem. So let us start. The topic is perfection of yoga. So of course, Prabhupada is starting off with what is explained in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Who is a perfect yogi? He's a bhakti yogi, like that. Shobha Mataji, would you like to start? Devotees who want to read, may raise your hands. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Can I start? The perfection of yoga.
Yes.
Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, speaks about the topmost system of yoga in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. There he has explained the Hatha Yoga system. Please remember that we are preaching this Krishna consciousness movement on the authority of Bhagavad Gita. It is nothing manufactured. The Bhakti Yoga system is authorized. And if you want to know about God, then you have to adopt this Bhakti Yoga system, because in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is concluded that the topmost yogi is he who is always thinking of Krishna within himself. Krishna, the Supreme Authority, recommended the 8-fold yoga system. The first step of this yoga system is to select a very secluded and sacred place. 8-fold meditation cannot be performed in a fashionable city. It is not possible. In India, therefore, those who are very serious about practicing yoga go to Haridwar and a very secluded place in the Himalayas, where they remain alone and follow a very restrictive process for eating and sleeping. There is no question of mating. Those rules and regulations must be followed very strictly. Simply to make a show of the gymnastics is not perfection of yoga. Yoga means control of the senses. If you indulge your senses unrestrictedly but make a show of yoga practice, you will never be successful. You have to select a sacred place. Then you have to sit with half-closed eyes and concentrate on the tip of your nose. You cannot change your posture. There are many rules and regulations which cannot possibly followed at the present. Even 5,000 years ago, when circumstances in the world were difficult, this
Hare
yoga
Krishna.
system...
Thank you, Mataji. Sorry, I was
Dandavat
mute.
Pranam Mataji. Hari Bol.
Dandavat Pranam. All right. So Prabhupada is talking the same thing. This is a perfection of yoga. So we're continuing with our discussion from the previous book. This first chapter is the summarization of what we studied in that book, the perfection of yoga. So Prabhupada is starting off with the last verse of chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, 6.47. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamo mataha. The best yogi is the bhakti yogi, who is always seeing me in his heart. And what does he do? Shraddhavan bhajate yomam, who engages in my worship. And then Prabhupada is also talking about how in this age of Kali, it is not possible for somebody to sit down, close one's eyes and focus on the tip of the nose and meditate, right? You're not even able to sit in one place for more than 5 minutes. We want to fidget, we move here, there, like that. And our mind is running here, there and everywhere. We want to get up, we want to stand, we want to walk, we want to sit down. And then, we do so many postures. In our japa session, we are get so innovative, right? Kabhi baithna hai, kabhi walk karna hai. Right? Unfortunately, we are not able to focus. That is why we are thinking, if I do this, I will feel better. If I do this, I will feel better, like that. But Prabhupada is very clearly mentioning here, yoga means control of the senses, right? Which we are talking about. Yukta ahara viharasya, yukta chestasya karmashu, yukta swapnava bodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkha. Yukta ahara vihara. That means we have to regulate our eating, sleeping, defending and mating. All of these things have to be done. Has to be done in a regulated way. And then we also spoke about sanctioned, sanctified, and then regulated. Right? What is prescribed for human beings? That is sanctioned for us. Patram, pushpam, balam, toyam. And then sanctified means we offer it to their lordships and we take Krishna prasadam. And then regulated means we take in regular intervals at specific times of the day. We sleep for specific hours of the day, say 9 to 3 o'clock or 9 to 4 o'clock, like that, depending on what is requirement of our body, so that we can practice devotional service very nicely. Uttahara vihara, viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmashu. And we have to regulate our recreation also. Like our 2 hours of chanting actually depends on how we have spent our remaining 22 hours, right? We cannot do whatever we like in the remaining 22 hours and then expect to focus on chanting in the 2 hours. It's not possible, right? Because whatever we do in the remaining 22 hours is going to have an effect on what we are going to do in those 2 hours. Our quality of chanting depends on our quality of life the other 22 hours. That's why it's very important that we spend it at least in a sattvic way. That means we, even if we want to listen to music, we listen to some sattvic music, instrumental music like that. Best is to hear Harinam Sankirtan like that. Okay, so let us move forward. Yeah, and then Prabhupada is also talking about, how this Ashtanga Yoga process that's described here, looking at this no tip point and all, is not possible in this age of Kali. In this age of Kali, what are we supposed to do? Harer Nama eva kevalam, kalau nastieva gatir anyata. Like that, Prabhupada concludes. All right, next paragraph, Sindhu Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Prabhupada ki jai. Even 5,000 years ago, when circumstances in the world were different, this yoga system was not practicable. Even such a great personality as Arjuna, who belonged to the royal family and was a great warrior and an intimate friend of Krishna, constantly living with him, after hearing this process of yoga from Krishna in a face-to-face discussion, said, "My dear Krishna, it is not possible to follow." He flatly admitted, "For me, these rules and regulations and practice for controlling the mind are not possible." We have to think that 5,000 years ago, a personality like Arjuna expressed his inability to practice this eightfold yoga system. So how can we follow it now? In this age, people are very short-lived. In India, the average duration of life is 35 years. In our country, it may be more than that, but actually, whereas your grandfather lived for 100 years, you cannot. These things are changing. The duration of life will be reduced. There are predictions in the scriptures that in this age, man's duration of life, his mercy and his intelligence are being reduced. Men are not very powerful. Their duration of life is very short. We are always disturbed, and we have practically no knowledge about spiritual science.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Bol. So here, Prabhupada is talking about the ill effects of Kali Yuga. And then Prabhupada will say, in this Kali Yuga, but there is one good quality. What is that? Kirtana Deva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Brajet. Kale Doshe Nidhe Rajan. Right? All of those doshas Prabhupada is described there. Right? Kale Doshe Nidhe Rajan. Filled with all inauspicious qualities. Kale Doshe Nidhe Rajan. Astihi Ekon Mahan Gunaha. But there is one good quality about Kali Yuga that Prabhupada will elaborate later on. What is that good quality? Kirtana Deva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Brajet. Right? We can attain liberation. What is Mukti? Mukti Hitvan Yada Rupam Swarupena Vyavastitihi. That means engaging in the service of the Lord in our constitutional position. That is only liberation. Right? As devotees, we don't want Sayujya Mukti, we don't want Salokya Mukti, we don't want Sarshri Mukti. If we don't, of course, we don't want Sayujya. Sayujya means merging. Right? That is the last thing that a devotee rejects. The other 4 things a devotee may accept, like Salokya, being in the same loka of the Lord, and Sarupya, taking the same form of the Lord and living with the Lord. Salokya, living in the same planet as the Lord. Sarshti, having the same opulences of the Lord. Why? Because in all these cases, there is an opportunity to serve the Lord. If I'm in the loka of the Lord, I can serve the Lord. If I'm Samipya, if I'm close to the Lord, I can serve the Lord. If I have the same form of the Lord, then I can serve the Lord. But none of these liberations are accepted by a devotee if there is no opportunity for service, right? Whether we are in this material world or we perfect our lives and go to the spiritual world, what is one eternal thing that always stays with us? Jivera Swarupa Hoye Krishnera Nityadas. We are servants of the Supreme Lord and we want to engage ourselves in activities that show our love and devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Prabhupada also mentions in this paragraph about the ill effects of Kali Yuga. Prayena Alpayusha Sabya Mandau Asmin Yuge Janaha Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Upadrataha. Right? Prayena Alpayusha. We discussed this in the previous book also. We have Alpa Ayusha. That means our lifespan is very limited, very short. Now people are expected to live 100 years, but hardly we see people living till 100. If you've lived till 100, even till 90, it is like, wow, you've had a very sattvic lifestyle. That's why you're even living up till 80, 90 like that, isn't it? And we have all this pandemics, this famine, this flood, and this bomb blast and all that. There's no age. People right from 1 year old or even few months old until 90, 95 years old, 100 years old. People are dying left, right, and center at all times due to various reasons, right? So prayana alpa yusha sabya. There's no guarantee that we will live till 100. There is no guarantee that we will be able to get up from this place. Right? We are living this second. Are we utilizing it in the service of the Lord? That is our only thing which is in our control. This 1 second, what I'm living now, I'm talking now, I'm able to hear now. This 1 second is what I have a control on. How do I exercise my free will? Right? So, prayena alpa yusha sabya kalavasmin yuge janaha. So, these are the characteristics of Kali Yuga Vasis, all of us. Right? What is our characteristic? Manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya upadrataha. Right? We are quarrelsome, we are misguided, we are lazy, we don't want to take any guidance, and misunderstood. Totally we misunderstand and quarrel at every instance. So all of these are the disqualifications of Kali Yuga. Right? People are short-lived. We don't have the intelligence to study the Vedic scriptures. Whatever little we understand, we try to misinterpret in our own way, and we try to present it in our own way. Whatever is convenient for us, like that. And then we are always disturbed, and we are misguided. And there are not even proper brahmanas or well read in the scriptures who can guide us. Right? So in this age of Kali, it is all full of faults. But then let's see what Prabhupada is saying in the next paragraph. For example, from there, Sarva Gopishni Mataji, go ahead.
Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam. For example, in the hundreds and thousands of universities all over the world, there is no department of knowledge where the science of the soul is taught. Actually, we are all spirit soul. From Bhagavad Gita, we understand that we are transmigrating from one body to another, even in our present life. All of us had at one time, the body of a small baby. Where is that body? The body has gone. Presently, I am an old man, but I remember that I was only a small baby. But still, I remember when I was about 6 months old, I was lying down on the lap of my elder sister, who was knitting, and I was playing. I can remember that. So it is possible for everyone to remember that he had a small body. After the baby's body, I had a boy's body. Then I had a youthful body, and now I am in this body. Where are those bodies? They are gone now. This is a different body. It is explained in Bhagavad Gita that when I give up this body, I will have to accept another body. It is very simple to understand. I have changed my many bodies, not only from childhood to boyhood to youth, but according to medical science, we are changing bodies every second imperceptibly. This process indicates that the soul is permanent. Although I have changed many bodies, I remember my baby body and my childhood body and the same person, soul. Similarly, when ultimately I change this body, I shall have to accept another. This simple formula is stated in Bhagavad Gita. Everyone can reflect on it, and there must be a scientific research done in this area.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
So here in this paragraph, Prabhupada is talking about Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tata dehantara praptir dhirastatrana muyati. Right? We all know, we can look at our photographs, right? When we were in the 5th standard, 8th standard, 1st standard, senior KG, when we were in the college, when we were in the, when we were in our 20s, when we were in the 30s, now we are in our 40s. Now we all see that the body is changing at every time, right? And, scientists have actually said that in 7 years, every cell of our body is changed, like that. So Prabhupada is talking about, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara. Just as we pass on in the same body from child to, from child to youth to oldhood, to old age. At the time of death, we just change our body. right? These are changes within the body. And at the end of this, when the body itself becomes so useless, then what does the soul do? The soul throws away this body and takes up another body. So and what is that verse? Dehinosumnyata dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tata dehantara praptir. So soul gets another body. So adhiras tatrana muyati. Adhira, or a sober person, is not bewildered by this change, because he understands that change is a constant. I've always been changing. This is nothing new, isn't it? I've changed from being a child to a teenager, to old age, to extremely old, or sometimes we don't even get to be old, but we are changing our body every time. We're getting a little older than what we were. So at the time of death, when our body becomes completely not usable, or completely not functionable, right? And that can happen at any stage, right? Old age means the stage before death. It can mean any age. There is no number that is assigned that after 60 you become old. No, right? We don't know. Old age means just before death, and we are getting older every second, isn't it? And so a sober person is not bewildered by such a change, right? Just as we move from one stage of body to another, we change our body when it becomes useless, and a sober person is not bewildered by such a change. Okay, so I see Navkishori Mataji's hand up. We'll end with Mataji. We'll just read the next paragraph, and then we will start with our prayers. Yeah. Okay. Navkishori Mataji, go ahead. Recently, I received a letter from there.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandat Pranam Mataji. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Recently, I received a letter from a doctor in Toronto. He suggested that there is a body and there is soul. I corresponded with him. Actually, it is fact. The soul is there. There is so much evidence, not only in the Vedic literature, but even by ordinary experience. The soul is there and it is transmigrating from one body to another. But unfortunately, there is no serious study on this subject in the universities. This is not very good. The Vedanta Sutra says this human form of life is meant for searching out of spirit. Out the spirit. The absolute truth, the yoga system is need to search out the spiritual principles within this material world. That process for searching is recommended in Bhagavad Gita by Krishna himself, when Arjuna said, the system you are recommending the Hatha Yoga system is not possible for me. Krishna assured him that he was the greatest of all yogis. He pacified him by saying not to bother about being unable to practice Hatha Yoga. He told him of all different types of yogis, Hatha Yoga yogis, Gnana yogis, Dhyana yogis, Bhakta yogis, Karma yogis, you are the best yogi. Krishna says, of all yogis, the one who is constantly thinking of me within himself, meditating upon me within the heart, is the first class yogi. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam. Thank you.
Very Dandat Pranams. Thank you. Yeah. So the best first class yogi is not a karma yogi, not a hatha yogi, not an ashtanga yogi. It is the bhakti yogi, right? Because there is no artificial suppression of the mind or the body, right? It is dovetailing, like Prabhupada beautifully is coined this word. We dovetail our propensities to whatever we are interested in. We do it for the service of the Lord, and the Lord accepts it, right? The Lord is not in need of anything, like we studied in the previous book. The Lord is Atmaram. The Lord is self-satisfied. He is not in need of anything. But what does he accept from us? He accepts only our love and devotion. So the Lord does not ask for Patra Pushpa Phalam Toya. The Lord says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati. You offer it to me with love and devotion, then I will accept it. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj, Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Books ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai. Grantaraj Srila Prabhupada Book Study ki jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. So now we will go on to our study of Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 15. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chapter 15, the Yoga of the Supreme Person. or Purushottama Yoga. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhvamutah Shakam Ashwattam Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Saveda Ved Adashortvam Prashritastasya Shakha Guna Pravriddha Vishaya Pravalah Adascha Mulananusantani Karmanubandini Manushya Loke Narupamasyeha Tatopalabhyate Nanto Nachadir Nacha Sampratishta Ashwattamenam Suviruda Mulam Asanga Shastrena Dridena Chitva Tataha Padam Tat Parimargitavyam Yasmin Gatana Nivartanti Bhuyaha Tameva Chadyam Purusham Prapadye Yataha Pravrti Prasrata Purani Nirmana Moha Jita Sanga Dosha Adhyatma Nitya Vinivritta Kamaha Dvandvair Vimukta Sukha Dukha Samyair Gachanti Amudha Padamavyayam Tat Na tad Bhasiyate Suryo Na Shashanko Na Pavakaha Yadgadvana Nivartante Tadhama Paramam Mama Mamaivaamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha Manah Sastani Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati Shariram Yat Avapnoti Yachap Utkramati Ishvaraha Ritvaitani Samyati Vayur Gandhani Vashayat Shrotram Chakshuhu Sparshanam Cha Rasanam Granam Evacha Adishthaya Manaschayam Vishayanupasevate Utkramantam Sitam Vapi Bunjanam Vagunanvitam Vimudhananu Pashyanti Jnana Chakshushaha Yatanto Yoginasrainam Pashyantyaatmanyavastitham Yatantopi Kritatmano Nainam Pashyantya Chetasaha Yad Adityagatam Tejo Jagadbhasayate Kilam Yad Chandramasi Yachagnav Tat Tejo Viddimamakam Gama Vishyacha Bhutani Dharayami Ahamojasa Pushnami Chaushadi Sarva Somo Bhutva Rasatmakaha Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamanshritah Pranapana Samayuktaha Pacham Yannam Chaturvidham Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishto Matah Smritirjnanamohanam Cha Vedaischa Sarvairahameva Vedyo Vedanta Kridveda Videva Chaham Dvavima Purushau Loke Ksharascha Akshara Ekascha Ksharah Sarvani Bhutani Kutastokshara Uchyate Uttamaha Purushastvanyaha Paramatmeti Udahritaha Yo Lokatrayam Avishya Vibhartyavyai Ishvaraha Yasmaksharam Atitoham Aksharaadapi Chottamaha Atosmi Lokavedecha Pratitaha Purushottamah Yo Mamevam Asammodo Janati Purushottamam Sa Sarva Vidbhajati Mam Sarva Bhavena Bharata Iti Guhyatamam Shastram Idam Yuktam Mayanaga Etad Budva Buddhiman Syat Krita Krityasya Bharata Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai Srila Gurudev ki jai Ananta Koti Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Now we will go on to the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter number 14, entitled Brahma's Prayers to Lord Sri Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udhirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtuki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Pankajanabhaya Namo Pankajamaline Namo Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangraye. Shri Brahma Vacha. This is chapter 14, Brahma's prayers to Lord Sri Krishna. Text 1. Shri Brahma Vacha. Naumedyate Brahmapushe Tadidambaraya Gunjavatam Saparipicchala Sanmukhaya वन्यस्रजे कवलवेत्र विषाण वेणु लक्ष्मश्रिये मृदुपदे पशुपाङ्गजाय अस्यापि देववपुषो मदनुग्रहस्य स्वेच्छामयस्य न तु भूतमयस्य कोऽपि नेशे महि ववसितं मनसान्तरेण साक्षात् तवैव किमुतात्मसुखानुभूतेः ज्ञाने प्रयासम् उदपास्य नमन्त एव जीवन्ति सन्मुखरितां भवदीयवार्ताम् स्थाने स्थिता श्रुतिगतां तनुवान् मनोभिर् ये प्रयासो जितजितोऽपि स्त्रीलोक्याम् श्रेयः श्रुतिं भक्तिमुदस्यते विभो क्लिश्यन्ति ये केवलबोधलब्धये तेषामसौ क्लेशल एव शिष्यते नान्यद्यथा स्थूलतुषावगातिनाम् पुरेह भूमान् बहवोऽपि योगिनस्त्वदर्प्येतेह निजकर्मलब्धया विबुध्य भक्त्यैव कतोपनीतया प्रपेधिरेञ्जो अच्युत ते गतिं पराम् तथापि भूमन् महिमा गुणस्य ते विभूतुमर्हत्यमलान्तरात्मभिः अविक्रियात् स्वानुभवादरूपतो ह्यनन्य बोध्यात्मतया न चान्यथा गुणात्मनस्तेऽपि गुणान् विमातुं हितावतीर्णस्य न कीक्षिरेस्य कालेन यैर्वा विमितासु कल्पैर्भूपुंशवः केमिः कद्युवासः तत्तेऽनुकम्पां सुसमीक्ष्यमाणो भुञ्जान एवात्मकृतं विपाकम् हृद्वद्वपूर्भिर्विददा नमस्ते जीवेतयो मुक्तिपदे सदायवाक् पश्येष मे नार्यमनन्त आद्ये परात्मनि त्वय्यपि मायिमायिनि मायां विदत्येक्षितुमात्मवैभवम् ह्यहं कियानैचमिवार्चिरग्नौ अतः क्षमस्वाच्युत मे रजो भुवो ह्यजानतस्त्वत्पृथगीशमानिनः अजावलेपान्ततमो अन्धचक्षुषा येषो अनुकम्प्यो मयि नातवानिति क्वाहं तमो महदहं कचराग्निवार्भू संवेष्टिताण्डघटसप्तवितस्तिकायः वेदृग्विदा विगणिताण्डपरानुचार्य वाताद्वरोम विवरस्य च ते महित्वम् उत्क्षेपणं गर्भगतस्य पादयो किं कल्पते मातुरजोक्षजाग्रसे किम् अस्ति नास्ति व्यपदेशभूषितं तवास्ति कुक्षे कियदप्यनन्तः जगत्त्रयान्तो दधि सम्प्लवोदे नारायणस्योदरणाभिनालात् विनिर्गतोजस्त्वीति मान्ना वै मृषा किन्त्वीश्वरत्वन्न विनिर्गतोऽस्मि नारायणस्त्वं नहि सर्वदेहिनाम् आत्मस्य दीशा किल लोकसाक्षी नारायणोऽङ्गं नरभूजलायनात् तच्चापि सत्यं न तवैव माया तच्चेजलस्तं तव सज्जगद्वपुः किं मे न दृष्टं भगवंस्तदैव किं वा सुदृष्टं हृदि मे तदैव किं नो सपद्येव पुनर्व्यदर्शि अत्रैव माया दमनावतारे हि यस्य प्रपञ्चस्य बहिः सुतस्य कृत्स्नस्य चान्तर्जठरे जनन्या मायात्मैव प्रकटीकृतं ते यस्य कुक्षाविदं सर्वं सात्मं भाति यथा तथा तत्त्वयि अपीह तत्सर्वं किम् इदं मायया विना अद्यैव त्वद्रतेस्य किं मम न ते मायात्ममदर्शितम् एकोऽसि प्रथमं ततो व्रज सुहृत् वत्सा समस्ता अपि तावन्तोऽसि चतुर्भुजास्तदखिलैः साकं मयोपासितास् तावन्त्येव जगन्त्यभूस्तदमिदं ब्रह्माद्वयं शीर्षते अजानतां त्वत्पदवीमनात्मनि आत्मात्मना भासि वितत्य मायां सृष्टा विवाहं जगतो विधान इव त्वमीशोऽन्त इव त्रिनेत्रः सुरेषु ऋषिभीष तथैव नृष्वपि तिर्याक्षयादस्सपिते जनस्य जन्मासतां दुर्मदनिग्रहाय प्रभो विदातः सदनुग्रहाय च भूतेति भूमन् भगवन् परात्मन् योगेश्वरोतिर्भवतस्त्रिलोक्यां क्व वा कथं वा कति वा कदेति विस्तारयन् क्रीडसि योगमायां तस्मात् इदं जगदशेषमसत्स्वरूपं स्वप्नावमस्तदिशनं पुरु दुःख दुःखं त्वय्येव नित्यसुखबोधतनावनन्ते मायात उद्यदपि यत् सदिवाव भाति एकस्त्वमात्मपुरुषः पुराणः सत्यः स्वयं ज्योतिरनन्त आद्यः नित्यक्षरो जश्रुशुको निरञ्जनः पूर्णाद्वयो मुक्त उपादितो मृतः एवं विदं त्वां सकलात्मनामपि स्वात्मानमात्मात्मतया विचक्षते गुर्वर्कलब्धोपनिषत्सु चक्षुषा ये ते तरन्तीव भवानृतां बुधिम् आत्मानमेवात्मतया विजानतां तेनैव जातं निखिलं प्रपञ्चितम् ज्ञानेन भूयोऽपि च तत्प्रलीयते रज्वा महेर्भोगभवाभवौ यथा अज्ञानसंज्ञौ भवबन्धमोक्षौ द्वौ नामनान्यौ सरतन्यभावात् अजस्रचित्यात्मनि केवले परे विचार्यमाणे तरणाविवाहने त्वमात्मानं परं मत्वा परम् आत्मानमेव च आत्मा पुनर्बहिर्मृग्य अहोज्ञाजनताज्ञता अन्तर्भवेनन्तमवन्तमेव यतत् त्यजन्तो मृगयन्ति सन्तः असन्तमपि यन्ति अहिमन्तरेण सन्तं गुणं तं किमुयन्ति सन्तः अतापि ते देवपदं भुजद्वया प्रसादलेशानुगृहीत एव हि जानाति तत्त्वं भगवन् महिम्नो न चान्य एकोऽपि चिरं विचिन्वन् तदस्तु मे नाथ स भूरिभागो भवेत् रवान्यत्र तुमातिरश्चाम् येनाहमेकोऽपि भवज्जनानां भूत्वा निषेवे तव पादपल्लवम् अहोति धन्या व्रजगोरमण्यः सन्यामृगं भीतमतीव ते मुदा यासां विभो वत्सतरात्मजात्मना यत्तृप्तयेद्यापि न चालमध्वराः अहो भाग्यं नन्दगोपवृजौकशां यन्मित्रं परमानन्दं पूर्णं ब्रह्म सनातनं येषां तु भाग्यमहिमा च्युततावदस्ताम् एकादशैव हि वयं वत भूरिभागाः एतदृशीकचषकै असकृत् पिबामः शर्वादयोऽङ्घ्रियुदज अमृतासवं ते तद्भूरिभाग्यं ह्य जन्म किमप्यतव्यां यद्गोकुलेऽपि कथमाङ्गिरजोऽभिषेकम् यज्जीवितं तु निखिलं भगवान् मुकुन्दस्तत्त्वद्वाप्यतपदरच श्रुतिमृग्यमेव एषं घोषनिवासिनमुत भवान् किं देवरातेति न चेतो विश्वफलात् फलं त्वदपरं पुत्रापि अयन्मुह्यति सद्वेषादिव पूतनापि सकुला त्वामेव देवा पिता यद्दामार्तसुहृत्प्रियात्मतनया प्राणाशयास्त्वत्कृते तावद्रागदयस्तेनास्तावत्कारगृहं गृहं तावन्मोहोऽङ्घ्रिनिगडो यावत् कृष्ण न तेचनाः प्रपञ्चं निष्प्रपञ्चोऽपि विदम्बयसि भूतले प्रपन्न जनतानन्द सन्दोहं प्रतितुं प्रभो जानन्त एव जानन्तु किं भुक्त्या न मे प्रभो मनसो वपुषो वाचो वैभवं तव गोचरः अनुजानीहि मां कृष्ण सर्वं त्वं वेत्सि सर्वदृक् त्वमेव जगतां नाथो जगत् एतत् तवार्पितम् श्रीकृष्ण वृष्णी कुलपुष्कर जोषदायीन् क्ष्मानिर्जरद्वीज पशुधारी वृद्धिकारीन् उद्धर्म शर्वरः रक्षीति राक्षसदृग् आकल्पमार्गमर्हन् भगवन् नमस्ते श्रीशुक उवाच इति अभिष्टूय भूमानां त्रिपरिक्रम्य पादयोः नत्वाभीष्टं जगद्दाता स्वधाम प्रत्यपद्यता ततोऽनुज्ञाप्य भगवान् स्वभुवं प्रागवस्थितान् वत्सान् पुलीनमानीन् यथा पूर्वसकं सुखम् एकस्मिन्नपि यातेऽब्दे प्राणेशं चान्तरात्मनः कृष्णमायाः ताराजन् क्षणार्धं मे निरेर्वकाः किं किं न विस्मरन्तीह मायां मोहितचेतसः यन्मोहितं जगत् सर्वम् अभीक्ष्णं विस्मृतात्मकम् ऊचुश्च सुहृद कृष्णं स्वागतं तेति रंहसा नैकोऽपि अभिभोजी कवलायिहिता साधु पूज्यताम् ततो हसन् ऋषिकेशो अभ्यवाहृत्य सहार्बकैः दर्शयंश्चर्मा जगरं न्यवर्तत वनाद्व्रजम् बर्हा प्रशूनावनदातु विचित्रदाङ्गः क्रोधाम वेणुदल श्रीधरवोत्सवाद्यः वत्सान् गृणन् अनुगगीत पवित्र कीर्तिर् गोपी दृगुत्सवदृशी प्रविवेश गोष्ठम् अद्यानेन महाव्यालो यशोदानन्दशूनुना अतो वितावयं चस्मात् इति भालाव्रजे जगुः श्रीराजोवाच ब्रह्मन् परोद्भवे कृष्णे इयान् प्रेमा कथं भवेत् यो बुधा पूर्वस्थोकेषु स्वोद्भावेषु विकथ्यताम्। श्रीशुक उवाच सर्वेषामपि भूतानां नृपस्वात्मैव वल्लभः इतरे प्रत्यवित्ताध्यास् तद्वल्लभत यैव हि तद्राजेन्द्र यथा स्नेहः स्वस्वकात्मानि देहिनां न तथा ममतालम्बी पुत्रवित्त गृहादिषु देहात्मवादिनं पुंसां राजन्यसत्तमा यथा देह प्रियतमस्तथा नाहि अनुयेचतम् देहोऽभिमदा भाक्षेत् तर्ह्यसौ नात्मवत्प्रियः यज्जीर्यदि विदेहेऽस्मिन् जीविताश बलीयसी तस्मात् प्रियतमः स्वात्मा सर्वेषामपि देहिनां तदर्थम् एव सकलं जगत् एतच्चराचरम् कृष्णमेनम् अदेहित्वम् आत्मानाम् अखिलात्मनां जगद्दीता यशोऽप्यत्र देही वा भाति मायया वस्तुतो जानतामत्र कृष्णं स्थास्नु च विष्णु च भगवद्रूपमखिलं नान्यद्वस्तीव किञ्चन सर्वेषामपि वस्तूनां भावार्थो भवति स्थितः तस्यापि भगवान् कृष्णः किम् अतद्वस्तु रूप्यतां समाश्रिता ये पदपल्लवप्लवम् महत्पदं पुण्ययशो मुरारेः भवाम्बुधेर् वत्सपदं परं पदं 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 यद् वदामि न तेषाम् एतत्ते सर्वमाख्यातं यत्पृष्टोऽहम् इह त्वया तत्कौमारे हरिकृतं पौगण्डे परिकीर्तितम् एतत् सुहृद्भिश्चरितां मुरारेः अगाधनं साध्वलजेमनं च व्यक्तेतरद्रूपमजोर्वविष्टवम् शृण्वन् घृणन्येति नरोऽखिलार्थान् एवं विहारै कौमारै कौमारं जहतोद्व्रजे निलयानै सेतुबन्धैर् मर्कटतोत्प्लवनादिभिः हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. So now we move on to our singing section. We're going to sing Chaurashtakam, praying to the Lord that may our hearts also become as soft as butter. So the Krishna may want to steal our hearts. This is the desire of Bilva Mangal Thakur. He wants to capture Krishna in the prison house of his heart. And may that be our only desire also. May we capture Krishna in our hearts. So in this mode, let's quickly sing this beautiful song, which is called Chaurashtakam, written by Bilva Mangal Thakur. Raje prasidam navanita choram Gopangananam cha dukula choram Aneka janmarjita papa choram Chauragradanyam purusham namami Viradikaya hridayasya Choram Navambuddha Shamala Kanti Choram Padashritanam Cha Samasta Choram Chauragraganyam Purusham Namami Akinchani Kritya Padashritam Yaha Karoti Bhikshum Pati Yehainam Kenapyaho Bhishana Chaura Idre Drishtashruto Vana Jagatrayepi Yadiyanamapi Haratyatesham Giri Prataranapi Paparashim Acharya Rupo Nanu Chaura Idre Drishtashruto Vana Maya Kadapi Danam Chamanam Cha Tatindriyani Tvam Hritva Mama Sarvameva Palayase Putra Dritodya Saura Tvam Bhakti Damnati Mayani Rudha Chinnatsi Gauram Yama Pasha Bandham Vinnatsi Dhimam Bhava Pasha Bandham Chinnati Sarvasya Tamasta Bandham Naivatmano Bhakta Kritam Tu Bandham Manmanase Tamasarashi Gore Karaduhit Dukha Maye Nibada Labaswahe Chora Hare Chiraya स्वचौर्यदोषोचितमेव दण्डम् कारागृहे वस सदा हृदये मदीये मद्भक्तिपाशदृढबन्धननिश्चलः सन् त्वां कृष्ण हे प्रलयकोटिशतान्तरेऽपि सर्वस्वचौरहृदयान् नहि मोचयामि. Nahi mochayami means I'm going to steal you and keep in my heart, and there is no liberation for you from my heart. This is the mood of Bilvamangal Thakur. All right, so now let's quickly go on to our last song. This is a very beautiful song written by Jiva Goswami. Very, very auspicious to do all these prayers in this month of Purushottam Adhika Mas. We're doing it for the pleasure of Guru and God. And we have to constantly remind ourselves why we are doing it, right? Otherwise, we'll be conditioned by the modes of happiness and satisfaction. Oh, we are able to do this for the pleasure of the Lord, right? We are also happy. We are also feeling blissful as we're doing it, right? Otherwise, we can't do it for 30 days. We're also feeling bliss. That is why we have to remind ourselves, right? It's not for sense gratification, not for feeling good that we're doing this. We are doing this for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. Any amount of bliss that we experience while we are singing, while we are chanting, while we are reading Prabhupada's books, is all by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. So in gratitude, let us sing this beautiful song written by Jiva Goswami, which is called Yugalashtakam. Krishna Prema Mayi Radha, Radha Prema Mayo Hari, Jivanena Dhane Nityam, Radha Krishna Gati Mama, Krishnasya Dravinam Radha, Radhaya Dravino Hari, Jivanena Dhane Nityam, Radha Krishna Gati Mama, Krishna Pranamayi Radha, Radha Pranamayo Hari, Jivanena Dhane Nityam, Radha Krishna Gati Mama, Krishna Drava Mayi Radha, Radha Drava Mayo Hari, Jivane Nadane Nityam, Radha Krishna Gati Mama, Krishna Gehe Sthita Radha, Radha Gehe Sthito Hari, Jivane Nadane Nityam, Radha Krishna Gati Mama, Krishna Chitta Sthita Radha, Radha Chitta Sthito Hari, Jivane Nadane Nityam, Radha Krishna Gati Mama, Neelambar Dhara Radha, Pitambar Dharo Hari, Jivane Nadane Nityam, Radha Krishna Gati Mama, Vrindavaneshwari Radha, Krishna Vrindavaneshwaraha, Jivane Nadane Nityam, Radha Krishna Gati Mama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Prema Mayi Radha, Radha Prema Mayo Hari, Jivane Nadane Nityam, Radha Krishna Gati Mama. Jai Jai Shri Radhe Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we went beyond our time limit of 2 o'clock. Sorry for that. Let us see who all we have today. Anjana Mataji, okay, Sridhar Prabhu, Suprabha Sumitra Mataji, Sindhu Mataji, Purna Mataji, Sarvagopeshwari Mataji, Kalpagavali Mataji, Shanta Perima, Deval Mataji, Sudha Mataji, Santush Chaitanya Prabhu, Meenakshi Mataji is joined us for the first time today. Thank you, Mataji. Vasant Panchami Mataji, Vanmali Prabhu, and Navkishori Mataji. Yeah. So the rest are all our regular participants. So my sincere gratitude to all the devotees who are joining us every day, so that we can perform these prayers for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So we'll quickly do Harinam Sankirtan for about 2 minutes and then we will end. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta, Swamini Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvitesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dishatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. All glories assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories. Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So everyone can unmute themselves now. Yes. Okay. Mataji, will you record Chaurashtakam and Yugalashtakam in your voice? Mataji, you can go into this link. This YouTube, it's already there on the live channel. You can go and hear it, Mataji. Every day it is there.
Okay.
Whichever day you like my singing, that day you can hear.
माता जी पर्सनल चाहिए था, मतलब चौराष्टकम और युगलाष्टकम जो आप गाते हैं ना माता जी, वो ऐसा लगता है एक छोटा सा एक बच्चा है जो भगवान के सामने अपना दिल खोल के बोल रहा है। आपकी आवाज बिल्कुल एक छोटे से इनोसेंट बच्चे जैसे आती है माता जी, आंखों में ऐसा पानी आ जाता है, ऐसे रोम जो होते हैं वो खड़े हो जाते हैं माता जी। बोलते बोलते भी मुझे ऐसा फील हो रहा है, तो आप मुझे पर्सनली भेज सकते हो क्या माता जी? बहुत अच्छा लगता है सुन के आपकी आवाज में।
All right, sure.
Thank you, Mata ji.
Hare Krishna. So anything else from devotees? Otherwise we can end and we'll meet tomorrow morning 5 o'clock for Brahma Murta chanting, and then we'll meet at 12:45 for our Purushottam Adhikama special prayer session. All right. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Dandavat pranams. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.